All right, so let's get things started here. Okay, well, thank you very much for taking your time out of your busy schedules today to join us for a webinar on protecting you and your organization for hackers. My name is Scott Young, and I'm the COO and one of the partners at Optrics Engineering, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. Next slide. Thank you. Today we will be covering the 7 most important things hackers want to steal from your organization and the most effective ways to stop them. And of course, this is obviously a timely subject, seeing that large organizations like Sony, Home Depot, and Target have been making the news over the last year for getting hacked, and we obviously wanted you all to avoid the same fate. So judging by the interest level we've received for this webinar, this is the 3rd one that we've done on the webinar for the last couple of weeks. This is obviously an important topic for you as well. So I just shot a message over there that to please use the chat feature on the right-hand side to ask any questions that you might have throughout the presentation. Next slide. I also want to take a moment to introduce who Optrics is, as this might be the first time you've heard of us. So we're a licensed engineering firm who was founded in 1995. We're a network integrated, also known as a value-added reseller, who has helped our clients throughout North America solve their networking issues. Our clients include Fortune 500 companies, all levels of government, the military, school boards, universities, colleges, as well as small and medium-sized organizations. Our main focus is on providing our clients with solutions revolving around wireless, backup and storage, virtualization, and VoIP phone systems, along with network security blanket around all 4 of them. We also do professional services, which includes installation, configuration, training, wireless site surveys, and much more. And we also own and operate CUDA-Mail, which is a managed spam filtering service. Next slide. And then for those of you who've worked with us before, you most likely have purchased from us a solution by Barracuda Networks, Managed Engine, Dell, we recently added Unitrends, WatchCare, we also have Aruba, and many other wireless solutions as well. And we also want to mention that we're very happy to include Network Test Labs, who we've partnered with on this webinar today, because now we're able to help our clients protect their network through penetration testing, risk and vulnerability assessments, PCI compliance, and more. And of course, we partner with them due to their technical expertise and recognition as being one of the leaders in the field of network security. So on the webinar today, I have from Network Test Labs, Blake Mitchell, who is their sales manager, as well as Richard D'Souza and Aaron Krause, who are a couple of their senior security consultants, also known as ethical hackers. So if you've ever wondered how a particular cyber attack happened, now, of course, is your chance to ask. So good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for taking the time with us today. And Blake, I'd now like to turn the presentation over to you.
Thank you very much, Scott. Thanks, everyone, for coming and spending your Tuesday morning with us, or afternoon, depending on where you're located. So I'll give you a little bit of agenda. We'll go over a little bit who NTL is, what is a hacker. We're going to go into kind of the details of what the levels of the web are and what people and hackers and people can do with that information they have from your businesses. We're going to go over some facts about breaches, understanding threats, and how to protect against those threats. And then we're going to really have some questions and answers. I've got 2 highly qualified people on the line with me today, Richard and Aaron, and they'll be able to answer any questions that you may have for us. So a little bit about us. NTL was founded in 2006. Richard D'Souza, who's on the line today, was one of the founding members, and he started NTL with the idea of providing security for online gambling companies. With that, he's really expanded dramatically through referrals, not sales. One of the things that's special about NTL is that the way we look after our clientele and the way we service our clientele, it's been completely referral growth, not a sales department pushing sales. Until now, in 2015, we've decided to make a push of expanding our business dramatically. And we're basically Vancouver's leading security consulting team. And we'll go into that. One of the special things about this and why we've had so much growth is we tailor-fit processes as per customer needs. We don't have a cookie-cutter style business model. We will do what we need to do to help our customers out and secure their networks. We have a comprehensive security portfolio, and we'll go into a little more detail about that, but from ISO standards to penetration testing to security posture assessment and a threat risk assessment. But there's a lot more included in that. We we have quite a portfolio of clientele. We've serviced government bodies, multinational corporations, enterprises, and small business, and obviously gambling communities. Our researcher team, some of our researchers on our team have been recruited by the CSIS, the NSA, and the FBI for the proven ability to detect developing internet threats. And that's something that we're proud of. We have quite a team that understands what's going on in this ever-changing world of hacking and IT security. I'll turn this over to Richard, and Richard's going to go into some detail about some of our services and what we offer. So, Richard?
Excellent. So I'm just going to take, thanks Blake, I'm just going to take a few minutes here just to go over some of these key areas of focus. So we have a lot of customers asking us, hey, Richard, we had a security breach, or perhaps we have something within our environment, looks like malware or some sort of malware. How can we identify this, and what type of approach can we take? So generally, I would recommend, if a customer understands their environment, they have visibility and eyes on the network, then they can identify APT-type malware propagating throughout their network. In the event, if they want to do an assessment, a security assessment, I would suggest a security posture assessment, looking at the perimeter security, looking at the internal controls, assessing their virtualization security, VMware type environment, VMware controls, virtual firewalls, intrusion prevention system, and so forth. If they simply want us to do an external type assessment, then a pen test would be the next best thing I would recommend, where we could try and test the perimeter and try and gain access to their internal systems. Some of the advanced techniques we have is such as trying to create a phishing email, a targeted phishing email to try and target specific users within the organization, try and click on this link to download malware or backdoor and try and gain access to their environment. The other assessment that you would consider is hardening your perimeter security, your firewalls, your perimeter controls. However, in any case, we've seen customers with a hardened perimeter still having issues with malware, with advanced malware, and these threats are being able to bypass these controls as well. Some of you may have PCI requirements, so PCI 3.0 requirements, so we can try and help provide guidance and remediation on that front, map out a solution for you based on your requirements to try and check those PCI boxes for you. Security awareness training program, this is your, this will tie into your end user, your employee, and we consider your employee to be your last line of defense and also your weakest link. So try to educate your employees on the various security threats out there. Providing them with the tools and the information how to protect themselves, whether at work or at home. So that's the type of training we can provide. And then we also have cybersecurity type engagement benchmark to NIST 800-53 security control. This is mostly for critical infrastructure type controls where they have multiple layers of security, multiple firewalls, and they have to meet a certain standard. So this is on a very high level, some areas of focus for us. So right back to you.
Thank you, Richard. So our growth has been quite amazing. Basically, as what Richard described, some of our service that we offer, we've been able to expand our business dramatically through 8 different countries in the world. And starting off in the gambling communities, we've expanded dramatically, and our big growth right now is obviously Canada and the U.S. The climate with cybersecurity right now, people are really interested in securing their network. And we're at the point right now where we want to work with proactive companies that are ready. We also work with remediation and solving problems, but helping companies get to that level to keep their staff information, everything protected. A little bit about us, our core values, we love to have fun. Our goal is to have fun in all avenues of life. If you're not enjoying your job, why do it? We really provide value for our clients. We want to make sure that our clients are getting the best level of service that we can possibly have. And our goal is to live with integrity. In this business, our goal is to live in integrity in our personal life and in our business life. And with this job, there's a lot of sensitive information that we can come across, and we want to make sure that we're looking after the best interests of our clients. And our goal is to have passion for security. And if you talk to Richard and Aaron and the other team that we work with, the team members that we have, it's pretty special to hear what these guys have and the values and beliefs that they have to protect their businesses. We want to be the best, and we always look for the win-win in our situations. So we want to make sure that everyone's winning in this situation. One of the things that we've come across, we're going to go into defining what a hacker is and what a hacker is going after. In the early 90s, there was two types of people. There was a hacker versus a cracker. And we need to define the difference. A hacker was actually a good person, someone that would look after their situations. A cracker was someone going after malicious side of things. Unfortunately, over time, media has grouped everyone together, so the hackers and the crackers. So they've come up with the hackers group have come up with a new title. So we call them security researchers. And these are the people that look after companies, and they're looking for vulnerabilities in systems to protect, not to take advantage of. So what makes NTL the good guys? Our team, we have all the same capabilities of the best hackers, but we follow ethical guidelines, and our goal is to protect clients from cyber criminals. Our team, we have about 60 qualifications and certifications, and we have a small team of about 30 people. We have some international clients here. So we have some telecommunication companies here in Canada called TELUS and Rogers. And on their staff of 30,000 plus people, they will have one person carrying the Cisco certified CCIE. And of our small team of 30 people, we actually have a member carrying that certification. The CISSP, the CEH, and the CISM are certifications that our team members have, and then the CompTIA Certified A, which is an IT certification, and it's actually recognized by the U.S. Department of Defense. So what makes NTL the good guys? Again, basically the ethical hacker is an individual who can be trusted to undertake an attempt to penetrate networks and computer systems using the same methods and techniques as the hacker. With that, we really think like a hacker or a cracker, and we really want to go after and understand what they can do. Understanding this game of what's going on it's a cat and mouse game. The hackers are one step ahead of everything, so we have to think like what they're looking for and go and secure that area. So with the CEH certification, the Certified Ethical Hacker, we actually stand behind a code of ethics. If we break these code of ethics, we can actually be pulled up on a peer review board and basically have our licenses taken away. So our goal is to advance and protect the profession and really be diligent and competent in the service to principles. Act honorably, honestly, justly, and responsibly, and legally. So we understand your business, and what we do is we understand your business, and we'll work with you to identify weaknesses within your operating environment. Our goal is to incorporate a multitude of strategies to help protect your business, and we'll go over that in the next couple of slides. So this is actually a very interesting study. This came out of the Chapman University in California, and the person carrying this survey and running the survey, he wanted to know what Americans are afraid of. And he asked two questions. What are Americans concerned and worried about, and what do they fear? So the top 5 things in 2014, what the number one concern was having identity stolen on the internet. Number 2, corporate surveillance of internet security. And then the interesting thing is number 3 is running out of money in the future. 4 is government surveillance of internet activity and becoming ill and sick. So this is a hot topic across all brands and all nations and all global states. We really we're really in the growth market right now. The top things Americans fear right now are number one is walking alone at night. Number two is becoming a victim of identity theft, and number three is safety on the internet. And then number four is being a victim of a mass random shooting and public speaking. So it's a fascinating era right now that we're in. And for businesses, this survey came out of the PricewaterhouseCoopers, where they do a survey of the top CEOs globally. And the number one concern for Canadian and U.S. CEOs is cyber threats and lack of data security. 86% of U.S. CEOs are concerned about it, and 64% of Canadian CEOs are concerned about it. This is the hot topic right now. Now, sitting here and understanding what can happen, every business is a little different. Some businesses maybe can afford to have a shutdown in their systems, but really, who can? On average, in the last 12 years, in 2014, so they're surveying the 2014, on average from the security incident, their systems were shut down 1 to 8 hours. But if you watch the stats, it goes up to 24 hours. The numbers jump up to 16.5%, and it goes all the way up to 5 days. Can businesses really afford to have their system shut down for 5 days, 3 to 5 days? And that's where NCL and Optrics come in to help. And the key here is the financial losses. 37% of financial losses resulted to less than $49,000. And then the next one, 14.8, going from $50,000 to $100,000. Now, watching the scale, $500,000 to $100,000, 10%. $1 to $9 million is 7%. But that jump between $10 million plus is 10.8%. The interesting thing is we've actually had a case that just got released. We had $1 billion stolen. So what is a hacker? A person, basically a person who uses a computer to gain unauthorized access to data. This is the hacker. Secure Thoughts decided to come up with the top 50 notorious hackers and decide and show people what they look like. And as you can see, it ranges from all races and walks of life. There isn't one set person or type that becomes a hacker. This image of the hacker sitting in your mom's basement and getting into systems is not there anymore. There is people that use this as a job, a profession, and we'll go into this. What motivates a hacker? Number one, curiosity. Most hackers start off to see what they can do, where they can come up, what they can come up with. Number two, once that curiosity starts wearing off, they're like, we can actually benefit from this. Then the next step becomes a personal beliefs. That's where you hear the anonymous coming into play, where they believe that they have a standard and a code of ethics that they live by, and they will protect that. And then obviously there's a profession, where on our side we have security researchers that create this as a profession, but there's also the unethical hackers that will actually create a job and a lifestyle, and I'll show you how they can do that now in the next couple of slides. So right now, we've gone on to the FBI website, and they're called this the Cyber's Most Wanted. This is a group. This is not isolated to one group. I've just taken some of the top ones here. These gentlemen were up on charges for economic espionage, theft of trade secrets, and a lot more. It's a very interesting dynamic now. This gentleman, Sam, they call him, Sam Jane, when they froze his bank accounts in Swift, and his Swiss bank accounts, they have $15 million in it. This is not a basement kind of operation. This is a big business right now for people. And this gentleman, this just came up about 2 weeks ago. This is the largest bounty on a person ever put by the U.S. government. It's $3 million. Over time, he stole almost $100 million. And he created the crypto locker, and he created another one that actually stole money from banks and other things. This gentleman is who we're protecting our companies against. Going into this, what are the 7 most important things hackers want to steal from your organization? Number one is your customer records. If a hacker has your customer records, they have the ability to share that with your competitors. On top of that, now they've come up with a new system where they can sell this to people. Employee records, they can actually now market. If you have an employee base that has a high knowledge base, competitors now know who your employees are and they can go after them. On top of that, their employee records, most companies hold their social security number or social insurance number, which basically identifies everything, and you can't replace that. Your credit card information. We'll go into how this credit card information, they can sell this and make a lot of money off of it, and personal identifiable information. This is where I can profile someone and have all their information and create loans and car loans and credit and do anything. The theft of soft and intellectual property. If I understand how your business operates, a hacker can take advantage of that and sell it to your competitors. And theft of hard and intellectual property. The interesting thing about this is we actually have a client, so we'll go into this, and Richard will go into a little bit of a case study, where we actually have a client that had malware installed where someone clicked on a link and it was shipping some of their files off and then compromising brand. Right now, if you see what's going on with Sony, brand damage is huge. And the embarrassment that some of these CEOs have come up with leaked emails and leaked information, it's quite embarrassing. And this is the stuff that we're trying to protect our companies, our interests in. Now, going into the marketplace, by some estimates, Google, Microsoft Bing, Yahoo only give us access to around 5% of the content of the web. This is from Chris White. He works for the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. His goal right now is to protect and find online criminals that are working. So he's created a search engine called Namax that searches and scours what you can't see with Google and finds out the activities. And this is the levels of the web. There are some deeper levels, but what we're going to focus on is level 0 to 3. Level 0 is what you find on the common web. What you'll find there is your news reports, your Facebook, very simple stuff that everyone knows about. Number 1 is the surface web, where you have to do a little bit of searching through Google. Number 2, this is where you start dealing with the torrents, where you can download stuff for free, but you have to know how to get there. And level 3 is you have to go there with encrypted access. If you don't, there will be some red flags with your IP address. And this is where most of the people that are dealing with information and hacking deal in, is that level 3. So level 1, if you go onto Google and you basically type in the hacker list, this is a very interesting website. They've actually created a bidding service for regular people and hackers. So a hacker can get on there, or a regular person can get in there and say, I need my Gmail or Facebook hacked, and I'm willing to pay $100 to $1,000. Hackers will then place a bid and say, I'll do it for you for $500. Once the job's done, then they'll get paid. The interesting thing is if someone has access to a Gmail account, and the way most people operate is every password and everything is backed up to that Gmail account. So if I have access to someone's Gmail account, I have access to all their personal information. So this is the next one. Most people don't know about this, but if you go in and rather than make a quick spelling mistake, and rather than LinkedIn, you type in LinkedIn, you can come up to this website. This is a dumping site where people can dump information onto it. And the information that you can get on there is quite amazing. This gentleman, his name is Jose. I went and found this website, and I was like, I wonder if this is real, legitimate stuff. So I got on the phone and called him. I spent some time talking to him, and I talked to his son, and they couldn't believe what I was telling them. So I gave them the link and told them this information. Their credit card, their expiry date, their address, all their information was up online. And not only that, I called all the people on the right-hand side, and only 2 numbers were inactive. They were all valid numbers and valid information that are floating around on the web. This is going into the next level where you can actually get information. So this looks like a Western Union that has been, information from a Western Union has been leaked. They have the social security number, the mother's maiden name, mother's middle name, father's maiden name. All this information is sitting there open, and there's no charge. This is where I think Aaron's going to talk about this for a second. This information is scary because the cat and mouse game that we talk about right now is there's antiviruses and there's protection, but all someone has to do is change a little bit of code and you can bypass all this information. Aaron, do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Sure, Blake. Basically, what you're looking at here is I have the ability to mutate and write a virus that, in this case, it will appear to be Dropbox. And right now, the signature detection is like 4 out of 50 antivirus, and those 4 antivirus are not popular antiviruses installed on systems. So, ability to easily migrate and bypass, and if you install this, the Dropbox installer there, it will actually install, and it will appear to be Dropbox. It will still allow the user to have the Dropbox utility, but it will actually be a parasite. So it's a parasitic, the way I developed it and the way I designed it, and so the user can still use Dropbox, but every time the Dropbox is executed, what ends up happening is it actually creates a connect back to a remote server, and they have complete access to that. So currently, antivirus is not is easily bypassed, and attackers know this. And so any business that's using just antivirus alone as protection has probably been compromised already. So this is really what we're looking at here, and there's ways where we can layer security to defend against attacks like this. All right, thanks.
Now, thanks, Aaron. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Fred, any questions? Anyone?
No, looks like you're good to go.
Okay.
Blake.
Thank you. The interesting thing on this is if you go to these websites below, openmalware.org, do not go to these. I highly recommend. They will be infected websites. They actually have the scripts to run malware. If you have the skills like Aaron does and some of our researchers, this information you can find quite easily. So on the next level, we're going into the Tor access. This is pretty basic stuff for some people. For other people, it's mind-blowing. With this, to get there, you have to use a VPN and the Tor browser to protect your information and protect your data. But you can go on there and buy these credit cards, plastic credit cards, and have them stamped with credit card information. This is very interesting. You can actually go on there, and I went on there and found someone selling all this information for $10. I can get anything, best time to call, loan requested amount, the SSN number for UK, their paycheck number, their shift hours. I can profile a client for $10. I can profile this group of people that give me this for this information. I won't be able to be a random person. I can profile them for $10, and this is available. Also, you can get a UK passport for £2,000, and they will give you all the information. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. You can actually become a U.S. citizen for $5,900. They will give you your passport, your SSN number, your driver's license, birth certificate, all that in one shot. And the interesting thing is this isn't limited to just U.S. This is available to anyone. So there is Canadian ones. Don't think that we're protected just because we're in Canada, but this is available. And we have some international people here, but don't think that we're protected. This is available, and if you do the searching hard enough, it is out there. Now, for our businesses, this is the most interesting aspect. This just was released about a month ago. Before this came out, Dark Leaks, the services, if someone wanted to get information, a hacker can go in and get the information, but they didn't have an avenue to sell it. So a hacker would have to go into a business already commissioned by someone. So they're like, then they'll say, okay, we'll pay you for this information. This service now, hackers are it's going to create an open market where hackers can hack into any business and sell this information to the highest bidder. From proprietary source codes, industrial design like medicine or defense, plans for businesses and engineering firms, zero-day exploits. All this information now is going to be available through an anonymous service called Darkleaks, where people can go in and bid on them with their Bitcoin and get by this information. This, from our security partners, they've telling us right now that this is going to change the way hacking is going to evolve in 2015 and on. This information now is creating a marketplace where people do not have to be commissioned or go after. Anyone can hack into a business and put it up here and sell it, and it's completely anonymous. And this is where the whole market is going to change. So we'll go into this quickly. Understanding the two different types of attacks. There's targeted attacks, and then there's drive-by attacks. A targeted attack is very planned and directed. It's usually motivated, targeted, and has a very advanced technology and persistence. A drive-by attack is very random. It's an accident-prone, someone clicking on the wrong link, mass emails to groups, staff clicking on the wrong links in emails or on websites, surfing the web, and having outside devices brought in. With this as well, a targeted attack, there's two ways to protect against this. It's hardware and software. Also, bringing in IT professionals, setting up your firewall properly, encryption, antivirus, load balancers, and bringing in teams like us, NTL. And bringing in a service called Deep Security is unbelievable as well. Big tips for us is you must evaluate security posture every year or after every major upgrade or system configuration. This is key. These are simple tips for us. Enable the security protocol, HTTPS, for all communications between systems, and really focus on using two-factor authentication. This stuff is simple tips for businesses that will help greatly increase their security. Now, going to the next level, and we're going to really focus on drive-by attacks, the random ones. This quote is fascinating. Employees may be your greatest asset or your greatest liability. And what we're talking about right now is this. In the right, we have our firewalls, encryption, antivirus software, and in the corner we have Dave, the human error. An interesting thing is just someone clicking on the wrong link, someone can have access to everything. If you have advanced malware going on or just randomly going out to everybody, that can really infect the system and take over, which you see in a couple businesses with the crypto locker. So understanding that group, we also have to understand what our weakest links are. These are the newest group of people coming in. They're all about 18 years old, and these are the people on your front line, the millennials. They're born in 1997, and they've seen, it started off with desktops, laptops, tablets, smartphones. The question is how much do they know and how much do they care? Most of them have never heard an internet dial-up tone. Most of them have never, they were actually, they were born 20 years after Star Wars was first released. These people really don't care, but they have, the benefit to them is they have a technology base that supersedes anyone else. And they really have a knowledge that not many generations have grown up completely with the newest technology. Now, I'm not knocking this. I'm just going over and trying to identify where our weakest links are. And I'm talking to a lot of IT professionals. They've had their issues with people clicking on the wrong links. They just don't care. And I'm generalizing this, and this is our group that will be 65 and ready to retire. They're born in 1950. They started off with that typewriter, desktop, laptop, tablet, and smartphone. The question that you have to ask yourself is how much do they know and how much do they care? I talking to one IT professional in one of our businesses that we deal with. The same guy keeps on clicking on the wrong link and infecting their system. This is the stuff that we have to really, NTL can help, and we can really teach these people in how to protect their companies. This is what we have to really focus on is a spear phishing attack. This is a spear phishing attack that I got in my email. And I have to identify and teach our staff, our weakest links, how to protect this, to protect against this. If you see, I know that I don't have an eFax service, and the fax came in 2012. So really, this information is key to understanding. But if someone clicked on that link, and what Aaron was talking about, is if someone downloads a link, downloads a file, an attachment, or a link, they can actually, it looks and opens up normally, but it will install malware into the system almost instantly. And because once it gets past all the levels of security, it has access to everything. And this is where we have to really focus on protecting the businesses. This here, Richard, I'm going to get you to come online here for a little bit, but this was what we found in one of our companies here. And this service actually went in, someone clicked on the link, it opened up into their system, and it found AutoCAD files and actually emailed them to a foreign state. Richard, do you want to go into a little more detail about this?
Sure, Blake. So this malware that we're looking at was a very sophisticated malware that we had to try and identify and quarantine and clean eventually. So so one of our customers, they reached out to us and they were having some issues, obviously some stage where their systems were offline. They had issues accessing certain internal systems. They had issues on the SharePoint portal, various different things happening internally. And so we went on site. We asked them for their logs. They had limited logging capabilities. Anyway, myself, Aaron, and the team, we looked at the logs and we tried to identify what was happening. In addition, we had some equipment shipped to their site. We had our equipment in tap mode, just looking at traffic, north-south traffic, east-west. And within, I guess within a few hours, we were able to identify which systems were infected, and we tried to quarantine those systems. However, we used various techniques to clean this malware. We had to work with the third-party software vendor to try and provide samples of this specific malware to the AV provider, and then within 8 hours we had those signatures available to clean this malware. The interesting thing about this malware is that it was specifically designed to target this customer, and the intent was to steal CAD diagrams or IP information for that customer, intellectual property, engineering diagrams, and customer contact information. And they were after their exchange email and the information in those inboxes. So again, you know, I believe from the time we identified this malware working backwards, perhaps they were infected maybe a month before, maybe more. We don't know because we didn't have the logs. But however, today we are able to contain this malware. We've provided some cybersecurity architecture for this customer. We've tried to control their endpoint installation of malware and have users clicking on various applications or links. So we're trying to control the endpoint. We're trying to monitor the network traffic at the same time, and there are additional components to this. Just to give you an idea, so this customer, they had all your standard bells and whistles. They had Exchange email filtering in the cloud. They have an Apollo Pro perimeter firewall. They have your standard AV, your well-known AV provider, and still they were able to do some of this information. So just to give you an idea of what's out there these days, you have teams of bad guys out there, or organized crime, or whatever you want to call them, are using cloud computing to generate and create malware at various variations of malware, using the technologies that we use to create maybe millions of these various variations and target customers. So signature-based AV is difficult, and you have to consider other controls moving forward. So Blake, back to you.
And the scary thing about this is, before we got in there, their data actually got leaked out, and months after, they found one of their projects in construction in Norway. So this is a real threat going on to people and businesses. And this is an interesting one now. We talked about the FBI is searching for the creator of this. this is a crypto locker, and it's usually it can be a targeted and it can be random as well, where emails just get sent out. Someone clicks on the link, it locks and encrypts all your files until you pay a certain amount of money to get it released. We've had a law firm here in BC that it showed up on. This is an interesting one. This was a police department in Chicago or in Illinois that actually clicked on a link and had their system completely locked down. They actually had to find the money or go and buy Bitcoins, $606 worth of Bitcoins, and actually have their system released. The scary thing is just because your system has and been infected with it doesn't mean, and you pay the money, doesn't mean that you're still not doing stuff in the background. This, by far, is the most fascinating infestation in the last little bit. This was the largest bank heist ever, and they're predicting that it was up to $1 billion stolen over the time. Every bank that was in there, it was a 3 to 4 month process. Someone would click on a link, it would actually, and download an attachment, and it would get into their system and it would search out the admin. It got onto their admin system, and not only did it infest their system, but it turned on the recording system and recorded the cash transfer system. It kept on recording and recording and recording, and someone sat back for months watching this, and then all of a sudden the hacker would move in and they would take control of ATMs, they would inflate bank accounts, and then withdraw the money. They did e-payment transfer systems, online banking. These people had access for years to banks. So even some of the most advanced technology, unless you don't incorporate some of our techniques, you can be exploited. But the number one key to this is protecting against someone clicking on those links. In almost every major attack in the news in the last couple of years was due to phishing attacks or human error. And that's very, very fascinating stuff. Anthem now, they were saying at first it looked like systems were it was just an unpatched system, but now they're saying it was coming through a phishing attacks. Sony, again, system spear phishing. Target was an infestation of an outside source. So they had an outside supplier that did their air conditioning, their HVAC systems. Their system, their computer was infected with the malware. When the company came into Target and plugged their computer in, it infested the Target system, and it was shipping money and credit card information out. Close to 40 million credit cards were gone. With that, Target did not know that that system was infected until 2 weeks after, when the federal government was telling them that your credit card information is being used throughout. And this is the stuff that's key here. How do you protect your organization against a drive-by attack? Number one, IT staff. For targeted attacks and drive-by attacks, knowledge is number one. Knowing what to look for, training, watching open portals, your policies, keeping your policies and keeping your staff from bringing outside devices or protecting them, shutting down USB ports, and really training and working with your IT staff. And our motto from Benjamin Franklin, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Companies that invest the time and money up front outweighs the negative side effects of a basically remediation after an attack. So what we've done, and Optrics was sent out to all the attendees, this is our social engineering red flags. I highly recommend printing this off, and anyone that's sitting on a computer in your organization should have this by their computer screen. This will teach your staff very quickly what to look for and how to protect against clicking on the links and downloading attachments. Now, these are some samples of the spear phishing attacks. If you see in this email that we got, missing Air Asia flight has been found. I don't know of any Air Asia flight that went missing. I know there was an Air Malaysia flight that went missing. So this is the stuff that we really need to enforce in training your staff. Another thing as well is Reuters.org. There is no Reuters.org tag. It's Reuters.com. So people to identify, and I know personally I've never signed up for routers. So this was a spear phishing attack. With this one, this is from Rogers, which is a local telecommunications company here. One of the keys to checking this is if you slide your mouse over the sign into my Rogers account, there's usually a bar on the bottom. If you look into the bottom left, it's not going to Rogers. So this information here is key in training your staff in how to protect your organization. The Twitter one here, I know for a fact that I have a Twitter account. It's not associated to B. Mitchell at Network Test Labs, but also if you look at the Twitter, it should be twitter.com, not twitterconfirmations.com. So spoofing the domains now is a big key for people, where they can actually spoof that domain by just adding twitter.com/confirmations.com. So this is the stuff. If you look over that red flag sign that Scott will be emailing to everyone that's attending today, this is key. Does anyone have any questions right now? If there's no questions, I'll keep on proceeding.
Carry on, Blake. No questions.
Thank you. Now, another one as well is the UPS tracking package. This is the frontline people sitting at the front desk thinking, oh, I got this email. And this one is basically leaves the frontline defense people very, very susceptible. Training the receptionist to not click on links like this is absolutely key. This one will come and you can have it appear in your system, and it will basically infect your system instantly. What we recommend as well is, on top of the red flag, for IT professionals, VirusTotal is amazing service. It has the ability to check URLs. You can upload a file and it will scan against every single virus protection. It will tell you what's going on. It will protect your business and your organization. So this is a free service and it's open and available to everybody. But this is a big key to the solution to spear phishing and protecting your organization. I don't recommend that an amateur play with this. I would recommend finding the emails, have it forwarded to an IT professional, and then let them investigate and see if this is going on. Again, tips for securing against a drive-by attack. Web security training. By far is the most effective, is one of the most effective sources to protecting your business. But on top of that, you have to test the effectiveness of training. We have the ability at NTL to do a spear phishing attack on an organization, and we've seen as high as a 33% click-through rate. So on top of the web security training, we highly recommend testing it as well. So we'll do a spear phishing campaign on your organization. We'll do a baseline, and then we'll implement the security training. And you can do it as well by using our the red flags and really enforce people to watch what they're clicking on in the email. Be cautious about links and attachments. Use VirusTotal. If you're not sure, we highly recommend to never click on the link. Go to Google first. And the easiest thing to protect the business is create USB policies or disable USB ports on computers. I spent some time in the hospital. My daughter was born in the last little bit, and watching what healthcare organizations have. Like, my wife needed to charge her phone, and my wife had access to plug in her phone right into the system with no issues. I don't know what's happening in the back end, but this stuff is all available. If someone was malicious, we could actually have access to their whole computer system. And the key is to patch all your systems and applications. Really focus on web browsers, Adobe Reader, and Flash, and look into virtual patching solutions. Really simple tips to securing your company against drive-by attacks. And Richard, I'm going to turn this over to you and how we can help, and then we'll open up the floor for questions and answers. So Richard?
Thanks. So just in terms of the assessments and what we've seen with some of our customers, and the biggest, one of the the most hot topic or the most number of issues we see is with patching. A lot of systems are unpatched, and that's where we have majority of the concerns. So we do have a solution called virtual patching, and where we have the ability to help our customers patch all their systems with specific policies designed for Windows systems, Linux systems, various legacy systems, and provide that protection. So in the event if you have any legacy systems that require protection, we can provide that. So that's one of the main areas of focus for based right out of our assessments. The other areas of concern we're seeing is training. So security awareness training, having end users understanding and educated on the threats out there, and also testing the knowledge that they've learned and reinforcing that knowledge and training. The other areas as well is looking at your controls that you have today within your network, looking at any gaps and try and benchmark that to industry standards perhaps, or perhaps even looking at your environment to see if systems have been compromised from a third-party perspective, coming in and doing that assessment. And then is your PCI or any compliance requirements you may have, looking at those requirements, mapping those requirements to the controls you may have within your environment, testing the effectiveness of those controls, and then providing you with a report with any gaps and recommendation and remediation plan from there onwards. So that's pretty much it. I'm happy to take any questions. Aaron, if you want to provide any feedback on your end, any supporting information as well.
We have a question from Benjamin regarding the freak attack.
Sure.
Basically,
Aaron,
it says, do you have any recommendations regarding the freak attack? Thank you very much, Benjamin.
Aaron, you want to go into details of that attack? If,
Apologize for that. I just had my speakers on mute, or microphone on mute. Basically, with a freak attack, it's not necessarily a vulnerability. What it is, it's leveraging a cryptography by downgrading your cryptography. And the easiest way to get around that is you can go online, and there's actually, if you have your URL, your website, and you are vulnerable to it, you can actually, I know with Apache, you can upgrade your, or not allow export of lower keys. And if you're on IIS, the same thing. You can actually go and limit your exports of your keys. All it is, it's more of a, attackers are able to use lower grade encryption and actually break the encryption. You can break it relatively quickly because of today's standards. We have access to such powerful computers. We can crack 512-bit export grade encryption extremely quickly, and that's all it is. So it's more of a just limit when your configuration on either Apache or on IIS. I'm not sure on IIS how to do, but on Apache you can just go in under your SSL configuration and actually limit your cryptography exports, and that would limit against it. There's a website online, I believe it's called Check Freak. I will verify that. I'm not sure, but it's Freak Check, and you can actually remotely.
So, Aaron, quick question. So, if the customer were to do some sort of assessment, say if they were doing a quarterly vulnerability assessment, as part of that, we would pick that up in the assessment, and then that report would have some remediation, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So what Richard's saying is that if we are doing a penetration test, we would identify things like Freak or Poodle or any vulnerable Heartbleed servers, and as far as an SSL approach is concerned, and we would provide remediations for that. Yes, that's correct, Richard.
Thanks.
I'm going to open up the microphones to everybody. So if we have any questions, everyone has the ability to talk. So if anyone wants to actually verbalize a question, feel free. I'm getting some feedback. So. A little bit of information. Our next webinar is going to be in April. Aaron will be opening up our lab, and we will actually show you how malware overtakes the system and how it can bypass antivirus. So we're working on showing, because everything changes so quickly, we're going to show people how it can bypass very, very effectively and how it can bypass Google and everything else with a matter of a couple things. So anyone else have any questions and answers? Questions, we can answer it. Anyone else? Everyone's mic's off, so I'm going to bypass to the next screen. So if you guys have any other questions, I know this is private for a lot of people. No one wants to release any information online. So what we'd recommend is if you want to get a hold of the Optrics sales team and basically contact them, we can arrange a discussion and we can basically give you a questionnaire and we can help you and assist your company in how we can move forward in protecting your business. So if you have any questions, I highly recommend getting hold of Scott and the team at Optrics, and we'll be able to help you out. I have another question here. Benjamin, will we send out the presentation? Yeah, I can send the presentation out to you if you'd like. Anyone else have any questions? Scott, do you have anything else? Okay, I'm going to mute the sound because we're getting a little bit of background. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Scott, did you have anything else to add to this? Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And Scott, are you there?
Yep. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, sorry, folks. It looks like my mic was muted. Just want to thank you very much, Blake, for your presentation as well as your input from Aaron and Richard. Lots of great information there. Just want to throw it out there a couple of points that I'd heard. Pardon me. With the CryptoLocker virus, I've heard cases where the police have shut down the operation. The victim tried to pay the ransom but couldn't get their computer unlocked because the system didn't exist anymore. So not good there. And also, I just want to reinforce one of the things that you mentioned was having a policy. I'm sure everyone at the organization has a policy, but we have an acceptable use policy that we get all of our staff to sign when they, as part of the onboarding process. And we train them what they can and cannot do with the network and the computers. I think this is super important. One of our rules is absolutely no outside USB keys unless Sean or Gideon, one of our IT staff, scan it with multiple antivirus services. And the sad thing is we found some of our vendors who've come in to do a presentation and wanted to download the presentation to our boardroom computer, and it's got a virus on it. on the thumb drive. And certainly the same thing goes with people who are coming, applicants who are coming for interviews who want to get a resume printed. That's certainly a big no-no because you just don't know where they've been, and often they've got something on them. Yeah, I just want to also reiterate that if anybody has a question or wants to talk about their specific security concerns one-on-one, we work very closely with the folks at NTL, and we'd certainly like to discuss those with you. And once we figure things out, I know you guys have a good questionnaire that people can go through and figure out what the security concerns are, and then offer a best route to go to solving whatever that problem is. So anyways, just want to point that out. But thanks again for the presentation, folks, and thank you very much for joining us. Also, thanks, Benjamin, and everyone for your questions. I'll get a copy of the presentation, and I'll be emailing that out today. We'll also be including a copy of that handout, and we've recorded today's session, so we'll have that up on YouTube, and we'll include a link for that as well. So thanks again for your time, folks, and enjoy the rest of your week.